Dad. So today I'm going to be reviewing Volition by Lily Parody. Now this review is long overdue. I started this book at the beginning of my semester and I was really enjoying it, but then I had no time to read it because my classes ended up being a lot more time consuming than I originally thought. So I was not able to pick it back up until spring break, in which case I completely binge read this book because it was amazing. And honestly, I just don't expect anything less from Lily Parody after Ignite, which I absolutely loved. And I could genuinely say that I loved Volition about 10 times more than Ignite, and I really loved Ignite. Tate is this 22-year-old girl, and she runs off to New York to live with her best friend. And she's trying to run away from her life in the South, away from her family and her experiences and a certain person. She's trying to start a new life, but she's also trying to become a new Tate. She's trying to leave some of that darkness that's always just plaguing her soul behind. I don't have much to criticize on this book, but I will mention the couple of things that did bother me a little bit. It's very small in the grand scheme of the whole book, but, you know, I feel like they're worth mentioning because they were thoughts that I had. And that would be that I find that it had a little bit of a slow start for me. It wasn't so bad that it was dragging, but it was a little bit slow. However, that could be me because I tend to find the beginning of most books slow. The other thing that bothered me a little bit, part of me appreciates her wasting no time and not dragging things out if it doesn't actually do anything for the story, so I do respect and appreciate that. However, I do like there to be a little bit to happen before the guy and girl meet, and I feel like they just met so immediately that it just was kind of like, oh, well, I guess there's that. That just happened. So I felt like it was a little bit fast, I guess, that they just met pretty much right when the book starts off. But again, I appreciate that she doesn't waste any time if there's no reason for anything to precede it. So I kind of feel conflicted even over my own feelings about that. So as much as I would have liked to have seen a little bit more before she and Hayden met, I also wouldn't have wanted anything added to the book if it was just going to drag out the story unnecessarily. So I don't really know how I would have fixed this myself because I understand why she did it, and I don't know if doing it my way would have made it any better. One of the most important things for me about this book was the main character, Tate. She is by far one of the darkest characters I've ever read. And it's not in that evil way. It's not like when you read from the point of view of a villain, but I'm talking about from the point of view of a real person. She is not a bad person, but she has very dark thoughts, very dark feelings, and I found her incredibly relatable. This Tate is my spirit animal. I absolutely related to her so much. And it's not even like I related to her circumstances because my life is not nearly as tragic as hers is. And I'm not quite as bad on a daily basis as she is. But there were just moments in here that I connected with her so wholeheartedly that it was so easy to place myself in her perspective. And it was almost like I had trouble figuring out where I stopped and she began because our souls just meshed. Yes, my soul meshed with the soul of a fictional character, and that's what I feel like. Although there are some positive changes that happen in her life, she tries to sort of reinvent herself. She doesn't get wholly caught up in being somebody that she's not. She is genuinely trying to improve herself so she can try and improve her life because what was working for her before wasn't working. This book jumps back and forth quite a bit because most chapters alternate between a now and then, but it is done so well that it doesn't confuse you. You're not like, oh, I don't understand anything that's going on until somebody explains it all at the end. You understand things as you're meant to, when you're meant to, so it never gets confusing. I feel like it was just placed so well, and she released bits of information at the exact right time so you could get the full experience of the story and of the character and what she went through. It was just so seamlessly done, and it's so hard to find an author that really knows how to accomplish that. But it's artistic. It's so artistic and well done. I don't even know how to rave about that enough. The organization of this book just really added to the impact of the entire story. As you'll see, I have like several tabs in here, and that is because this book is so quotable. This book is extremely quotable. Besides the fact that she has various literature and pop culture references, which I can really appreciate, and I kind of squealed like a fangirl whenever I would get to these references and be like, oh, I get that, and I can appreciate that reference. I'm weird, and that stuff excites me. I love that she included all these references, but there are also parts in here that I feel like she just manages to put into words what I feel all the time. I feel like even though there are certain things that are obviously unrealistic, and I don't care that they're unrealistic because it's fiction and it works for the story. Like, not all of us who run off to New York are going to meet a super handsome and understanding Rockefeller. But I absolutely love Hayden, and I love their relationship, and I love that he's a Rockefeller because it's fiction, and I don't always read fiction for total realism. So I love that. I love it. One good thing I really liked about this book too is that even outside of Tate, I feel like you can relate to the people in her life. I feel like everyone at some point has had a Colin, and everyone at some point has had a Jesse, where you just meet these people and they're your soulmates. They're your soulmates, and it doesn't always end well, and it's not always in the way that you think. You can have a best friend that's also your soulmate without it being romantic. This book is just... This absolutely has to be one of my favorite books of all time because I connected with this book so much. If soulmates could be a book, this book would be my soulmate. This book left me feeling like something and somebody understood me. It wasn't necessarily happy. It wasn't a positive, filled with light kind of book at all. But this book made me feel not alone, and it made me feel connected. It's just wonderful. I cannot recommend this book to you guys enough. This is a 5 out of 5 stars for me. Thank you so much, Lily, for writing this book and placing it in my life, because I'm so grateful to you for that and for the experience that this book gave me. I will have more videos out soon. Talk to you guys later.